Okay.
Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew,
Here.
Mr. Kramer,
Here.
Mr. Marraro,
Here.
Mr. Pop.
I motion that we excuse Mr. Pop from tonight's meeting.
Support.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew.
Yes. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Or
Mr. Marraro,
yes.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
We'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 15th, 2021, and the executive session of February 15th, 2021.
I motion that we approve the regular minutes of the February 15th, 2021 meeting and the executive session of February 15th, 2021.
Support.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Marraro.
Yes.
We'll move on to the approval of manifest 2021-05. Is there, Brett, do you have any questions?
I have none tonight.
Yeah,
None, Madam Mayor.
and I have none. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we approve manifest 2021-05 in the amount of $266,774.48.
Support.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes. Answers to previous manifest questions?
We have
We
no
have-
outstanding questions.
All right. Anyone wishing to address the council on an agenda item only will be unmuted and given an opportunity to make their comments. For participants on Zoom, you can use the raise your hand feature and the host will initiate the unmute. For telephone participants, hit *9 to initiate the request to speak. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes.
Okay, there's no hands being raised.
We'll move on to appointments and presentations, zoning board of appeals, council representative appointment.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. This was brought up at the last council meeting that we need to have a council representative appointed to fill a seat for the ZBA. And I believe Mr. Pop did indicate that he was willing to do that.
We have a motion.
Motion that Scott Pop be appointed as our ZBA council member representative.
Support.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Ordinance number 443, an ordinance to allow marijuana establishments within the city of Norway pursuant to the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act. Reading number 2.
Okay, so this is a second reading. We have a public hearing scheduled for March 15th, at which time the council can, they'll entertain the public hearing and also they can move at that time or schedule for enactment or for approval for a future meeting. So the decision will be theirs. Basically, it's the same language that we had at the previous meeting. I don't know if Mr. Carlson would like to have any comment based on, where we're at. We do have a working session coming up to try and get through some of the details in the language to be in proper form.
Nothing really has changed on my end as far as the ordinance you have in front of you. Same kind of comments as last time. We're having a work session this Thursday with the council. The decisions and some of the discussions are going to have are what limitations, if any, are you going to place upon establishments within our community? Need to think through the process, the applications, some of the side issues that arise out of the use. I think we'll be ready for a full discussion on Thursday and further discussion for that public meeting in another week or two here.
Thank you, Grant. Well, if there's no questions, I'll move on to communications. Approval timber sale contract, logger timber sale contract amended request, Mr. Anderson.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. As you're aware, we have a timber cutting contract that's been going on for a couple of years now over on the Wisconsin side of the hydro facility on the city properties. It's all part of the forestry management plan in place in Wisconsin. And we've got a receipt. I received this message from the logging, from our forester actually, that Frank's Logging, they were requesting that we give them another extension, mainly because they had a couple of mill closures in Wisconsin. I think it was early last year. Not sure exact timing on the closings. But what ended up happening was a lot of the pulp from those mills got diverted to Verso and really softened up that market, and they were having a hard time. And then, of course, with COVID and some other issues, they're asking if we could go extend it through March 30th of 2022. In talking with the logger or with our forester, we can take back the remainder of the contract. It's not a penalty per se. So what will happen is then we have a right to go out to bid the remaining portions of what hasn't been cut yet. The problem is because the market is so soft right now that we're better off. The forester's recommendation is you're better off to extend this through March of 2022 and get your logger to complete the contract as opposed to moving forward, taking that back.
I have no problem with that.
What's the percentage that's completed out there, Ray?
I would say he's over 50% complete. There's a couple units that he still has to complete, so we're talking probably about 30% based on what I see.
Yeah, it's just to Ray's point, this is totally price driven. It's a soft market. You're not going to find anybody else who's coming to cut it either, especially after somebody already started with 50+% of it. So I don't have an issue with it.
I have a motion.
I'll make a motion that the Wisconsin Land Management timber sale contract with Frank's Logging be amended to allow for a time extension to complete the sale by March 30th, 2022.
Support.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Mararo,
Yes.
We'll move on to resolution 2021-03 Arbor Day proclamation.
So this will be the 7th year that the city of Norway is Tree City designation. As part of our program, Arbor Day is the the last Friday of April every year. And so for this year, it's April 30th, 2021. Part of the program, we do designate that day in a resolution. We also try to have some kind of programming with the school, but at this point, with COVID, same as what happened last year, we aren't going to be able to do too much in that regard. So we might just do some articles out in the paper, something for the public, and that's about the extent of our public participation this year.
We have a motion.
I make a motion that resolution 2021-03 be approved, designated April 30th, 2021 as Arbor Day in the city of Norway.
Or
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Mararo,
yes.
Mrs. Brew.
Yes. Anyone wishing to address the council on any item of will be unmuted and given an opportunity to make their comments. For participants on Zoom, use your raise hand feature and the host will initiate the unmute. For telephone participants, hit *9 to initiate the request to speak. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person.
No hands raised.
Okay, we'll move on to mayor and council comments. Brett,
I have none, thank you.
Jeff,
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Ray, as we talked earlier today, we are gonna, the new, the new ordinance is going to affect tomorrow. As far as dumpsters and the like, is that correct?
Yeah, it actually is, it goes into force today.
Today?
Yeah, we've already
Okay.
made some contacts, been working on that with the police chief.
Excellent. So we'll, as we discussed today, we'll take a few of those complaints up and get some movement on them, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
I have none. Mr. Anderson,
I really don't have any. I do want to give just a quick update. The governor has made some comments as of late. She's looking to make some concessions, I think, on some of the COVID, but one thing that she hasn't done is talked about in-person meetings, where the meetings that we're having. This goes through March 29th. So I'll keep everybody appraised if any of that changes, but at this point, it looks like she hasn't been addressing anything, but she is addressing some of the restaurant issues. So outside of that, just a reminder that we do have applications out for council for the 5th seat. Those will be due on Monday, the 15th. So that's something for council, for this council to take up at that meeting. But outside of that, that's it.
do we have any, did anybody put in so far?
Yeah, we have 2 applications at this time.
Okay. Grant, did you have anything?
Nothing, Madam Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Trish or Mary?
No, thank you.
No,
Mary?
nothing handy, thank you.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion we adjourn.
Or,
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
yes.
Mr. Marraro.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.